Well, come on, Fritz. All right, guys. So before I head back down to the house, welcome back to Appalachia's Homestead. This is going to be kind of like video 2. It's not going to be labeled video. I don't know what I'm going to label it, but anyway. So previous to this video, I am talking to you. By the way, welcome back to the channel. I'm so rude. Welcome to Appalachia's Homestead. I explained to you the coincidences of life, yada, yada, yada. And I want to take the moment to thank you again. And I want to take the moment to really push. I'm poking you. Listen, I got a big shot today, so it's your turn now. I want to give you an update on my health situation and to thank you so much. Listen to me. 2 videos ago, I talk about my buck, the burn from the buck, right? I talked to you about my problems with the back of my legs. I got very sick. And I've been dealing with this, let's put it nicely, contact style of dermatitis that I have been putting up with for the past 5 or 6 days, and it's been very, very painful. I did say that if I wasn't better by Monday into Tuesday that I would need to be seen by my doctors, and I actually ended up going to a specialist today. I have a dermatologist. I will tell you right now, his name is Dr. Griffith in Knoxville. He has been my family's dermatologist for over, 30-something years. He saved my father from melanoma. My father had a severe case of melanoma. This gentleman found it. They found it in time. He had massive surgery, and my father kicked it, okay? I have seen this gentleman save my middle son because my son ended up having to be in the hospital years ago with strep that they could not find. The dermatologist found it, gave the suggestion of what surgery to do. They did it. My son was healed in a week. So this is the gentleman that has done lots of different things with me. So when push comes to shove, Dr. Griffith of Knoxville, he is on Kingston Pike in the Bearden Hill area of Knoxville. If you are in East Tennessee and you need a kick butt dermatologist, then I'm telling you right now, that's who you need to see. He is not pushy. He is very thorough, super sweet, one of the best doctors out there, okay? So I went and saw him today because I'm not progressing. I wasn't progressing to the point that I want to be. Now I'm a little aggressive. I have expectations. I know I'm very healthy, but I got concerned. So and I haven't been sleeping. I'm sure some stress from the situation with Sadie and bottle feeding a kitten all weekend, that didn't help in terms of rest. But at the same time, this has been an ordeal. So I went today after taking care of the kitten at the vet. Baby went to the vet. Mama went to the vet. Lucky for me, he was like, "Holy cow, girl. Cowgirl, what have you?" I said. So I point blank asked him. I said, "What do you think caused this?" Because I like for them to kind of state what they think before I tell them. He said, "I don't know." He said, "This is several days far gone." He said, "You actually look really good." He said, "But I know you're in a lot of pain." He said, "Sweetheart," he said, "have you slept at all?" I said, "No." I said, "I just can't. It's like I progressed." And then he says, "Well, that's what happens is you start to progress." And he said, "You've been kicked back into it." He said, "I'm telling you right now," and I know some of you are not going to like this because I know how some of y'all are. I took the biggest, he said, "You have to have the biggest dose of cortisone that I can give you." He said, "We've got to get this in your body. It's going to take a couple of weeks." He said, "We've got to manage it." I said, "Am I infected? And he said, "You are not infected at all." He said, "You have been treating this beautifully." He said, "It's just going to take a lot longer." He said, "So whatever you're doing and have been doing is working, but you don't want to be like this." I said, "No, I don't. No, do it right now." So Mama got a really nice poke today. It wasn't painful. I don't mind that. I do what I got to do. I trust this doctor, and he gave me another cream, and he said, "You have taken very good care of yourself." He said, "You are not infected." So some of you I say that because some of you, listen, I want to say this. The video where I tell you what's going on, in my opinion, which I'll get to more. Hi, baby. I'll get to more details here in a minute. He said, "This, you're shaking because Daffodil is shaking the post, rubbing her head." Silly cow. He said, "This is, at this point," he said, "this is a severe, severe case of contact dermatitis." So I then said, "This is what I think happened." He said, "Absolutely could have happened." And it's literally, don't laugh, but I have taken a Sharpie and I have marked where my ankle, above my boot line, below my short line, to see if it would spread. It hasn't. It's literally where I told you it is. So I got a big shot. He said, "I'm telling you," he said, "this is going to fix you up. Might take a little bit longer. Use this cream, da-da-da-da-da." And he said, "What have you been using?" So I am going to attach a picture of Domeboro. I've used several topical things, and like I said, was trying to say, several of you have, not several, lots of you have, are nurses, wound care specialists, etc., and you've put a lot of wonderful comments. In the video, I talk about being burned by my buck. Guys, the medication lists and ideas are pretty phenomenal. And I've done a lot of these things, and I've also majorly used the Domeboro, which is basically, it's like, I guess, is it an astringent, and it dries you out. I used it in the past for shingles. I've used it in the past for poison ivy and poison oak. I am going to insist that you put these items into your medicine cabinet. Okay, she's walked on. I think that it is imperative that you look at moments like I'm in right now. If you're sick, if you have issues with skin issues, anything medical, please go over items that you need for your medical kit. Because my question to him was, "I'm going through this. What if you weren't available to help me today?" He said, "You would need to continue to do what you've been doing. It takes longer. It's going to be more pain, but you're doing everything right. You're not infected. I'm not worried about it." He said, "But you are inflamed." He said, "These are the items that you've been using, the things that you're talking about are wonderful." So the number one thing that I've been using the past 2 days is Domeboro. You can get it at CVS or Walgreens. I'll attach a picture. I'll take a picture of it with my own camera so you can see it. I'm telling you from multiple personal experiences, from shingles, poison ivy, it just helps dry it out. And that's what he said. He said, "It is wonderful." He said, "It helps dry anything up." He said, "And that's important." He said, "You did good, girl." So I want to attach that because here's what I've been thinking about. I'm gonna get straight to the point. This crowd has probably seen it. If not, there was a TV movie. I saw it on the History Channel, actually, in 2010, called After Armageddon, okay? And it goes through the process of a pandemic, killing off like half the population, and these people are fleeing Los Angeles, and they end up in, I think it's Idaho, and I don't want to kill the whole story for you, okay, in case you want to watch it. It's very stressful. But in the end, you think these people have done really well, and they did. But then you find out a simple antibiotic is make or break, life or death. It's very, very eye-opening to see that, even if it's like I said, a movie. My experience with this, which is not necessarily life or death, but it could have been. If you get an infection, if you get cut, if you get contact dermatitis and maybe you end up scratching it and you've been out working, think about all the scenarios, simple things, staph infections, strep. Think of all the things that seem so frivolous that a simple medication can take care of, and they can. The problem is if things break down or we can't get medications, are you set to deal with these things? All kinds of list of medical needs. Please be thinking about things that you need. Be very, very thorough. because this has upped my game again. So yesterday I went out, guess what? Put on some pants because I'm not showing my legs right now. And I got more stuff. I got more backups for my backups because, as I said in the previous video, my doctor said I'm doing everything right. It's just a longer process. But that nailed it for me. That knocked it out of the park and saying, okay, what if I couldn't come to the dermatologist today? What if I couldn't go to the medical doctor's office today? Do I have what I need at home to do the best that I can with all kinds of different medications to see me through a crisis? Do you? So a lot of people talk about this. Again, we've touched on this subject many, many times. I'm going to go out and have a farm and live independently and life is going to be great. I'm going to bug out and head to the Smoky Mountains and live and nobody's going to bother me. Well, I hate to tell you, but there's lots of factors in nature that can get a hold of you long before a two-legged predator. And they can take you out. Black bears, mountain lions, poison ivy, copperheads, rattlesnakes. I mean, that's just to name a few around here. Something very, very simple can make you very, very sick. Very, very fast. So please be thinking about these things. You don't just start a homestead without injury. You don't just, gosh, you could just go mow the lawn and have a major injury. Do you have the medical items, antibiotics, astringents, wound care, burn care, just to name a few things to help you in a crisis? Just like I mentioned with the Domeboro, if we start going through a serious breakdown, the stress management alone could put you 6 feet under. That's not doomsday, folks. That's fact. That's medical fact. Especially if you already have medical issues. Do you have allergies? Think about all the ways and things. I mean, I would never have dreamed going out, walking over to feed my goats, and my goat's like, hey, Mom, and then look, here I am. What if this had been worse? What if this had been something else? What if it had been something that I had no idea was there and I'm hardcore allergic to it? Please be going over these details with your family. These things go beyond Tylenol, Mucinex, and Neosporin. Start thinking of the big stuff. Whatever you feel that is for you, think outside the box. Think of scenarios of things that maybe you haven't experienced in 10 years. What if you experience it again? I appreciate y'all being here. I am doing better. I am doing better. It's just slower than I want. It's been a little uncomfortable. I'm sure the stress from the weekend didn't help me. I'm very well aware of that. But I think we're on the right path. And I want you safe. And I want you thinking ahead. Okay? It's horrible times like this, which again are no coincidence. They are learning experiences. We fuss and cuss them when they're here. I know. But what am I learning? I'm learning that I'm on the right path, and I'm learning to amp it up a little bit more, and I've learned to pass that to you to help you. Like, subscribe, and share. Again, more videos coming up this week. We're hitting the floor running tomorrow, babe. We sure are. A lot of videos coming, and again, I can never thank you enough for your support. Like, subscribe, and share. Stay strong. Don't get caught in the minutia. Let's focus. We'll see you on the next video.